I always believe people say, oh, it's not about the looks. No, you have to be attracted to somebody. Yes. And then the more you get to know somebody, they become more attractive to you if you like that. Yeah. And I will always give somebody a chance. Me too. But you do need an initial attraction, I think.
If you were to say, like, there's this great successful guy, but he treats you like crap. Exactly. Or there's this guy that has a normal job, but he treats you and respects you. Absolutely. And adores you. I'm going to go with this guy. So it's not necessarily like how successful they are. It's a plus, but it's not.
Would you feel the same if, like, say you made $30,000 more a year than him?
But because I think that would affect him. I don't think a guy would be, and I don't care what they say, I don't think a man is going to be okay with their significant other making hundreds of dollars, like, tons of money more than that.
Women definitely want a successful man. They don't always want to put up with the attention that it takes
to get there.
And I understand it. Like, I don't blame anybody. Turning 40, I kind of shifted that a little bit, but like, your brain's always thinking about your business or your next move, but I think that's why it's so important. Like, you have that supportive woman who stands by your side, because like, you are going to take risks. Sometimes those risks aren't going to go well. All right, guys. So welcome to Becoming a Better You podcast. Today we have Nancy and Gloria. And so today we're talking about dating over 40. All right. Yes. So we're going to share your experiences, which probably would be pretty similar to other people in the dating scene today. So before we get started, we did get started. We single, divorced, married?
Single.
Single,
divorced.
Previously married.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's start off today's dating scene. Right, it's 2023. Mm-hmm. What do we see? What are our experiences?
It's
awful, right?
Yes.
Why?
I just feel like a lot of people don't put much of an effort anymore.
More of a hookup.
Yeah, it's not like yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like. I just feel like it was easier before than it is now. Now it's just whether you're on a dating site or just at a club or at a bar, the first thing is a hookup. There's not like, let me get to know you, let me take you out on a date. It's very
Do guys
rare.
ask you on dates though?
Can I give you an example?
Of course you can.
A few months ago, I was in a local bar.
Does it start with an A?
No.
Okay.
Sitting with a friend of mine, and this guy walked in, and I said to her, I'm like, oh, he's really, he's cute. And like, I was like automatically attracted to him. And he just like kept looking over. So he was by himself. So I said to her, you know what? I'm going to see if he wants to come sit with us. So I went up and I asked him. He was like, yep. He came, sat with us, talked with me the whole night. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers. And I was like, he was such a nice guy. He bought us drinks. He was a gentleman. He was just very nice to talk to. I get home and I get a text.
Was it a picture?
No, thank God. I get a text. What do you do? Can I come over? I'm like that was, I know it's not a big deal, but that was such a turnoff to me. It's like, I just met you. I don't know you.
Was that the end of it right there?
Totally, for me, it was the end of it. And then he texted me another time. I didn't even answer him. But for me, that was like the end of it. Because I thought he was such a nice guy. And then that's it. It was just for that, which is fine. But be upfront about that.
Be transparent. And honest.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, I kind of want to say this. Like, I think if women knew that men are really easy, like, you could just be like, I like you. And then he's going to be like, I like you too. Right? Like, men are usually really easy.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is that nowadays, and we'll talk about this more like with filters and stuff like that, but people aren't honest. Okay. Right. So like, not going to tell you the truth. And do you feel like, say back in the day, like in your 20s, that men were more truthful, they were more gentlemen, like compared to nowadays?
For me personally, yes. I feel like when I was younger, I felt like it was more like you met someone, they took you out on dates, you started a relationship, it was nice, whether it worked or didn't. It was that initial, like, they were giving effort, they were doing something. Where now, like she said, it's just, there's no effort. It's just like, hey,
And I thought it was something, I was like, oh, maybe have another date, maybe first. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that would,
And not even another date, a first date, actually.
What if he qualified that text as like, hey, can I come over and can we continue our conversation?
It was 1:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no conversation.
Gotcha.
You know where that's going. It's just.
And your question about dating in your 20s, I was with my ex-husband from the age of 17 to 47. So I didn't date as an adult. I was with him all those years till I got divorced.
What was it like?
And it was hard for me because I felt like a child. I felt like an adolescent, and I had to figure it out for myself. That was 2008, 2009. But I did. And, you have to get your confidence. And once I figured it out, all hell broke loose. But it was good, But like I said, so all I ever known was him or the boys I dated in high school. So it wasn't, and it was a different time. I'll say I'm 62. So it was a different time when I was in high school and those men were more old school.
But I feel like that's almost like, I wish it was like that.
Oh, no,
now.
yeah, exactly.
Do you think many women wish like it's that now?
Some people will, like I do. Like
most,
personally,
I think most.
I would love for someone to be that way, to be so.
Oh, me too.
To be what way?
Just like old school in a way where they're like, I'm not saying I need someone to open my door all the time. If you do that, that's great because no one does that anymore.
No, nobody does that.
When someone does that, you're like, wow, this is a gentleman. Like, this is a nice person. Because you don't get that anymore. But back then, everyone did that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going on dates and guys doing that. And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
No one does that anymore.
No.
It's like the little things that men could do where you would be like, wow. I'm not wowed anymore.
There are some older men that are still like that.
So that brings me to my next point.
But then again, they want someone her age.
Yeah. So that brings me to a couple points.
They don't want someone my age. They want a 40-year-old, someone in their 40s.
And again, so when I ask these questions, it's so like I can understand because obviously I'm not a woman. But do you feel like there are traditional men, like probably the men that you married, and that was the time,
right?
And now there's, I'm going to say modern men for lack of a better term.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're totally different.
Yes.
Right? So the way I would say they're totally different is my belief is that, now, let me preface this by saying, I think a woman should do whatever she wants to do to be happy. Mm-hmm. However, I was raised where like I take care of the woman, I make sure she's safe, I provide for her. If she wants to go to work or if she wants to stay home, that's a decision she can make. Yeah. Right? But like my responsibility is to make sure she's taken care of. Nowadays, I feel like men don't have that kind of mentality, right? Especially the younger generation. Men I'm 40, so 20s, like they don't even know what it's like to be a man.
No.
Which brings me to my next topic, where in society today, it's almost seen that if you try to be manly like they were in World War II or then, it's almost seen as being bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think that's society that's creating that image where like, why can't you still feel that way or do those things? Because that's going to be a bad thing.
Well, I think some society and some, not everybody, but I think they're like, hey, well, if you're doing those things, it means you're not allowing the woman to be empowered.
But you can still have both.
Well, I'll say men of my generation, they prefer you not to be independent. I think they're threatened by an independent person. And I think that's a lot of my problem. I don't need you. Like, I want a companion. I don't need you to take care. And it's nice to be, I don't want to say taken care of. It's nice to be cared for.
Sure.
For someone to care about you, to care what you're doing or what's going on in your life. But a lot of older men, they don't like a woman who stands up for herself or takes no bullshit, that kind of thing. And I kind of want to say a lot of men are like that, whether it's like if you stand up to someone, Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you think men think that's a turnoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, but I mean, I think why wouldn't a guy? I mean, nowadays, why wouldn't they want some? Like like you said, I don't need a guy to
I'm not talking about
financially
just
take care of
financially
me
or just a job,
or
I'm talking,
mentally or whatever. I don't need a guy to do that for me. I want someone to be in my life doing
to
that.
care about you.
I don't,
not to care for you when it's needed, but not to control everything.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between caring for someone, caring about what that person's doing, or taking care of. And I'm talking about taking care of like everything. Yeah. So you have no independence or that kind of thing.
But I think so many women now are so independent with like work, like as far as like their careers, and a lot of women don't need that from a guy, you know? And some guys can't handle that. Like some guys, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying some guys want you to want them or need them or want you to do everything. And you're like, you're so used to doing it yourself that it, you know?
Yeah.
You know.
And I agree, right? And I think that, okay, so before back, 40s, 50s, whatever, but the woman stayed home. So she definitely needed the man to provide financially.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now it's different. And I think that's good, right? Yeah. Because I don't think you should necessarily like have to stay with somebody, because if you don't stay with them,
right, then you
can't live.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if that breeds the case where, say, you're independent, you're successful as a woman, well, you don't need the man financially anymore, right? Because you can do it on your own. So what do you need the man for? Because the reason I ask that is some of the society today is like, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And as a man, that is super unattractive.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
I get you.
And what I want to say with that.
No, you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
because that's because that's almost like, I didn't say you needed me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, if that's the mentality you have, well, what can I provide you? Because you know,
right. Yeah.
So what do you want the man to provide? Right? Because you guys are successful, you're well to do, you don't need the money. But what do we want them to provide?
I want the companionship. I want someone to be supportive and someone to be there for me and someone to just be with me and help me through just everyday stuff. I mean, you have friends and you have family, but it's different when it's like your significant other. Like they go through you, they support you.
Or just to have someone just to come home to.
Like for me personally, like my daughter just went to college, right? So it's been very difficult for me.
Yeah, you said you're an empty nester.
I am an empty nester, and it made me think like, okay, even though I've been single for so long and I've been okay, it's like now it's like I'm totally alone. Like I have tons of friends and I do stuff. It's just different. Like, I wish there was someone there to come home to and someone to, like, I don't know, cook dinner with on a Friday or watch movies or, you know what I mean? Like that.
Share life with.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I would need or want a man for.
So the men that you're going on dates now, right? We already talk about, like, the hookup culture. Yeah. What traits do they have, right? And what's the age range that we can date? Right? Because we know there's a double standard. So like I'm in my 40s. I can date 20 and up. Right? Yep. You guys could date 20 and up. However, a 20-year-old guy cannot provide what you need.
That's like that would be my son. That would be my child. I couldn't. Even
but if they were really good looking.
Even when I got divorced, I had this one kid that was after me all the time. We went to this one place and he danced.
He's probably 40 now.
Yeah. But that didn't interest me. I like someone my age. Yeah. I could do like 5 years younger, or even I'm 62. I could do if it was like a young 68, 70, as long as they were, on the go, not someone.
You want someone who kept themselves together.
Yeah. But
I've always dated younger men.
Doesn't surprise me.
But I'm going to go with a but. Now that I'm getting older, I feel that that's not working out very well because I'm at a different point in my life. My daughter's in college. clearly I'm not having kids. Like, I'm at a different place where, like, when I was younger, I could date these younger guys because I was like, whatever, you know. But now these younger guys want to get married, they want to have kids, and I clearly it's not something that I'm thinking of in my life. So I do need to, like, date either someone my age or someone older.
Yeah.
Is that I was going to ask you, is that like a mental shift for you then?
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it was, I could be wrong, but I think it was Jennifer Lopez who said that, like, men, and I don't know how she was being, but she said, like, men can't provide a woman anything until they're 30 or late 30s or whatever. And I had heard that as like a 25-year-old man. I was like, what is she talking about? As a 40-year-old man, I understand this.
Yeah.
Because it takes men a long time to become successful, to be able to provide, to have status, right? You have to go through challenges. Listen, my 20-year-old self can't compete with my 40-year-old self.
Yeah.
You're better.
100% I am.
Oh, and that's just evolving, but that's a good thing. And I wouldn't expect a 20-year-old, 25-year-old to, unless they, you know, have daddy's money and everything's taken care of.
But when as a man, when you're 20, 25, 29, like, you think you can.
Yes, right.
And listen, like, I'm traditional in that way. Like, anybody I dated or even went on dates with, I always paid. Even in long-term relationships, I probably paid for like 95% of the dinners. Yeah. Even as a 25-year-old man.
And
right?
as bad as this sounds, I expect a man to pay for me. I always offer.
Is that a test?
It is a test.
I don't offer.
I do. I offer, and you know.
So I think that's where younger men, if we talk like in the 20s and 30s, they don't know how to play it. They don't know what to do because of, like, women empowerment. So and I was reading a thing on Reddit the other day. Some men think that if they pay for you or a woman, it's not allowing you to be right. And I read the thing and they split the bill. And then she texted him and she's like, "I've never seen you again because, like, you didn't pay for my bill." He's like, "I would have, but you said that, you know."
Yeah, that's tough though.
It is.
Again, like,
but that's
the
how
old school comes out
school.
in me. Like, I'm old school tradition. I was brought up in a really strict household, so not saying that that's okay now, but in a way, I still carry that with me. Like, to me, if you ask me on a date, you should pay. I've never asked anyone on a date, so I'm like that's I've never have. But, you know, you sit and I wait for a second. I've never offered, and they always
Has
pay.
anyone not paid?
No, that's never happened to me.
Yeah, no, me either.
You just sit there, you just look at them.
No,
just wait.
No, there's no waiting.
No, 25 minutes.
No, they just pay. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like
just like that.
I don't know if they just pay.
I got you.
And that's I've never been the person that I'm like, can I split? No, I'm not. Like, that's not who I am. Like, and I feel like that's why you have to get to know each other just a little bit before you even go on that first date. Because if you know me a little bit, you're gonna know that, like,
go have a coffee.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not. Yeah,
I think. Honestly, I think actually for first dates, like, coffee dates are like the best.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I've learned that don't go on a dinner date first date. That's just like you're trapped if you don't like it. It's just
So who do you think has it more difficult with dating, men or women? And the reason I ask that is, like, men have to face rejection, right? Yeah. Like you said, you never asked anybody out, but you have to wait for them to ask you.
Absolutely.
So, like, who do you think has it harder?
So I've learned it only took me till I was like 60 to finally, like, remember we were out and that guy last year, I went up to him. He was cute. He was sitting there. He was smiling. I said, you know what? And again, he kept looking. And
I was like,
eyeing,
good for you.
Look at me. I said, you know what? This is an opportunity. He doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't have to talk to me. I talked to him. We talked a lot, and he took my number.
You went out?
Went out on a few dates. No.
Were you nervous walking up to him?
A little bit, but I've gained that confidence because I would never before.
Through the alcohol?
I would no, because I don't. No, I don't drink a lot.
No, she was.
I said, you know what? It's an opportunity, and I'm of the mindset now. I've come a long way. I'm of the mindset now not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Because I've said no to guys, and it's nothing wrong with the guy or
See,
whatever. It's just
I could never do that.
But I didn't. I just started talking. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And we just started talking, and it was cute until he never stopped talking.
I was very proud of you.
So okay.
Never
So
stopped talking.
like I told you, men are easy. You literally just have to be like, "Hey, I like you."
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the signs that like women over 40, like how are you gonna like? You say you want this guy to ask you out.
Yeah.
Men can be clueless. Can we agree?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes, and I and like you said about the rejection, that's what made me think, you know what? He kept looking at me. I said, you know what? I'm going to make the first move.
You give certain signs.
What signs do the women give to men?
Them a little smile.
You give it right, but you
just make
eyes.
the eye contact,
The eyes.
little
Yeah.
smile.
That's it.
Then that's your
and you see if
feel.
that goes back and, forth a few times. Right.
Yeah.
If that goes back and forth a few times, then
So it has to be a few times, like eye contact.
I think
smile.
so. Yeah. Just to make sure it's you he's looking at, not like the girl behind you or something.
Is it hard then? So again, listen. I think you can agree. I think there's guys who like know how to talk to women and guys who have no idea to talk to women, how to talk to women. And some guys can be creepy, legit creepy.
Yeah.
How do you weed the creepy guys out? Can you spot them?
Right away.
How? How do you spot them?
Right away. I know right away. Right away.
Because Gloria's gone on a date with a few of them, so I'm asking you, like,
I know like if someone comes up to me or if I see an interaction I know a nut job right away.
You can tell when they hit on like 10 other people.
and then too much.
you at least want to be the first one they hit on.
Like, just hit on me first and then we'll see. But no.
I got
But they're too much. It's always over the top. It's always too much. That, it's, I know.
Would you say that one of the big turn-ons on like a date is when the guy listens?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
100%.
Ask questions too. About you.
Yeah.
Wants to know about you.
I like that, and I like when they actually remember, because you know they're paying attention. Like, there's been like a few times where like you go on a date and you talk about a bunch of stuff, right? And then you get like a little nice text, and then there's something in that conversation that they remembered.
Yeah.
And even if you weren't like super crazy about this guy first, that little thing will make you go on that second date
and
with
that's
them
another
because
thing.
you know that they were paying attention to you.
You have to be, I always believe people say, it's not about the looks. No, you have to be attracted to somebody. Yes. And then the more you get to know somebody, they become more attractive to you if you like that. Yeah. And I will always give somebody a chance.
Me too.
But you do need an initial attraction, I think. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God. But I think,
absolutely.
Definitely.
I would give someone
and I always give a second date.
Always?
Always. Like if it has to be really bad for me not to. I always.
What's the worst date you've been on, Nancy?
Oh, don't ask me.
Oh my God. I thought about this today. So when I first got divorced,
how old were you?
I was 47.
Okay.
Nilo had just opened around that time. So we were in there.
We were probably there. I was only 22. Wasn't me. It wasn't me, right? All right.
This guy
I got you.
Came up to me and talking, whatever. We ended up making a date. So he took me out on a Saturday. I always said, I would give my daughter, I would meet the person somewhere and leave my car. So when they pull up, I'd get their license plate and I would text it to my daughter or something.
All right.
So in case I disappeared. I watch a lot of Dateline.
Love Dateline.
But
I love
So we went up to Patriot Place up there and we just, walked around. Don't go far away because then the ride home is like, just get me the F.
Oh, you went with him?
We met and then I got into his car.
Evidently, she hasn't watched enough Dateline.
No. It was during the day. I got his license.
Were you trying to be on an episode of Dateline?
Sent it to my daughter. So we went into a shoe store. He wanted me to try on boots.
Oh, he had a foot fetish.
I was like, you know what? Date over. I'm done. Like, you could save that for like the seventh date.
Yeah,
something. Like, I was like, now I just want to go home. I'm all set.
Just from him wanting you to try on shoes?
Come on. He was like,
he was very insistent.
He was very insistent. And I was like, you're going to, I said, are you going to buy them for me? No, I just wanted to try them on. And so.
Okay. So what about Miss Gloria?
I think that was my
Oh my! You want me
The
to
worst
think
one.
of the worst one?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, one of the bad ones.
I've had
like what did they do on the date?
I've had like 3 horrible.
Recently?
Yeah,
Yeah, my latest ones have all been like,
I've had some
Nothing.
really bad ones. To pick one.
Or just give me a conglomerate of like things that happened on the date where you knew it was like a turn off.
Okay. All right. Yes. So I went on a date with this gentleman that didn't look like he said he looked. So when, you see someone, you're expecting someone and the person walks in and you're like, all right, I'm already turned off because did you not think that I was going to figure out that you look different than what you said you did? So that was the first thing.
And like viscerally, do you feel like he lied?
Yes. And to me, like honesty is huge with me. So like, even if it's something so minor, what else is there to lie about?
Right.
So that turned me off. But again, this was a big mistake. We did the whole dinner thing, which I don't think I would ever do that again.
No.
Because right from the beginning, I was already turned off. But
And
I
you
was like,
stopped,
all right,
and you
let me
stopped.
give this person a chance. Because I'm like, let me give this person a chance. When the person starts talking about planning things 6 months down the road, and this is your first date, that was not good.
Yeah.
Like that. Then talking about meeting the family, meeting the ex-wives, the kids, the parents.
Oh my God, yeah.
Going on vacation with them. It was a lot. It was
too much. What would they call that? Emotionally slutty. Yeah.
And
what do they call that?
And
emotionally slutty.
The weird part is he used to make noises when he ate. And I that was.
These weren't like erotic, good sounding.
It was
noises?
just like he was enjoying his food like you would enjoy a woman.
Oh yeah, no.
And it was just such a turnoff.
Yeah,
I just
maybe it was the same guy Nancy went out with.
Yeah.
So I agree with like just going to get coffee, even a drink. Even if you just do a drink, but
never
a dinner
do dinner.
thing,
No, first couple of dates, no dinner.
No, it's.
So I will tell you, as a man, though.
Yeah. What would you prefer?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, when the woman brings up future dates,
that's a turn off too.
No, then you know you're in, right?
But what if you're not interested in the woman and the woman brings up future dates?
I think as a man, I don't get as turned off.
Really? Even if you're not interested in the
No, because I don't. No, I know that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I still like cool. Like she likes me. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't have a connection.
Right.
But I don't see it it doesn't turn me off.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like you, I don't like you. But I just I just kind of read it and understand, okay, like she likes me, she likes the date, like she's already planning X, Y, and Z.
Right. But you never think it's too much that they're planning that ahead? Like that's not giving you a red flag right there?
So I think for men, like we have to be worried about different things, right? So like when I go on a date, I'm not really worried if I'm gonna get like attacked. Right. Yeah. I'm not there's nothing you're gonna really do to me.
Yeah.
Where I don't fear for anything.
Right.
You know, the only thing I look for is I'll look for like emotionally unstable.
That's what I look for.
However, I don't think you actually really know somebody till you've been dating them over a year.
Till you know if they're
because sometimes that side of them doesn't come out until a situation brings it out, and then you're like,
what happened? This person was
normal. Yeah, and I think that for me, if I had one flaw, would be that like I'm who I am all the time. And so, like, I think you guys know me. I forget that other people put on like this persona, which I don't.
I'm the same way.
So I forget.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
So you're thinking they're being genuine.
Right.
And
because
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm not even that way. I legit always forget that, you know? But then I look for different things that aren't congruent. Right. So how do you approach dating now over 40 than in your 20s?
Well, like I said, I was married in my 20s. So, so you take that one.
Like I said, in my 20s, it was fun. Like I wasn't looking for, it was just fun. There was no pressure. It was just like, oh, I'm just going to go on a date with this guy and have fun. And
you don't think of it like that now?
maybe because I've had so many bad experiences that I don't see it that way now.
Because I've talked to a lot of women, just like, friends, and they're like, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it sucks.
And it seems like I'm going to say like 80, 90% all have bad dates.
Yeah.
To the point where they turn off like the online dating or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm at a stage now, when we go out, like, they're younger than me, these girls, they look, and I used to do that, but I don't even look anymore. Unless I happen to see somebody or something happens, that's okay. And I'm okay. I'm okay if I finally come to the realization, if I don't, maybe that was it for me, my ex-husband. I would like to think not. And, I've dated quite a bit between my divorce and now, but maybe that was it for me. And I'm okay with it. But if I meet someone, that's wonderful. Yeah. But it has to be, I don't want to say I have a high standard, but it has to be someone that is worth my time. Who is worth my time.
Yeah. So do you think...
I don't want to like serial date. I don't...
Yeah.
If I feel it's someone that's worth it, then absolutely. But otherwise, I'm good.
So as...
Because it's hard.
Yeah. So as women, do you feel the more successful you become in life, the less options you have to date men?
With me, I don't think it's anything to do with success or anything like that. No. I just think the dating pool is like a puddle.
Yeah. It really. I mean, if you were to say like there's this great successful guy but he treats you like crap, or there's this guy that has a normal job but he treats you and respects you
absolutely
and adores you, I'm gonna go with this guy. Do you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily like how successful they are. It's a plus, but it's not a...
Would you feel the same if, like, say you made $30,000 more a year than him and he's not making that, right?
But because I think that would affect him.
Right.
I don't think a guy would be, and I don't care what they say, I don't think a man is going to be okay with their significant other making, like a little bit is different. Like hundreds of dollars, like, tons of money more than that.
I agree with you.
It's not.
If they're a traditional man.
Yeah.
A traditional man would not be okay with that.
Right.
Because it would violate everything he wants to do for you.
You're right.
Right. So, however, the men coming up today, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not them. Yeah. Right. But if I'm 25, listen, I think it's a red flag if, just me personally, from my perspective, like, if the guy is relying on the women to provide everything and he's staying home, play video games, smoking weed.
No, God, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a huge red flag for women. I've talked to women who, they're like, I supported him. He didn't do anything.
How does he even get to that point, though? How do you
But there's a lot of men that do now. They do.
Maybe looks. I don't know.
They do. Yeah.
See, but I don't. I know.
I'm still not.
But why is he on your couch? But I
it gets to a point where it gets old and you're like, I don't care how hot you are. Like, this is just.
But I'm talking from a different perspective. So. It's just, how does it even get to that point? Like, it took me a long time. When I first got divorced, it was hard being alone. My kids, my youngest daughter was 18. The oldest was 21. They graduated high school and college. The other one moved away, the older one. And I had Alicia with me for a while. And then she got married a few years ago, but she had moved out prior to that with her boyfriend. So I always had her, like, same thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was by myself. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, it was sad. It really was. Yeah. And then, when I was dating and I had gone with this one guy and everyone says, oh, well, I don't want to say I almost said his name. He's so set in his ways. He's been on his own for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I could never understand that. Why wouldn't you want to be with me so much? Because I'm great, but he's so set in his ways. And I have become that.
Yeah. As we get older, I think.
As you get older,
yeah.
I have to really like you to invite you into my home. I really do. I have to really, you're going to be something special to come into my home in my space because I don't mind being alone. I'm good with it. Do I want somebody? Yes.
Yeah.
I think I kind of want somebody like you have yours, your space. Yeah. I'll have mine. We can stay together here and there, but I'm I'm good. And I'm actually really, and when I came to that realization, it was like this weight was lifted off of me. I was like, I'm actually good. So
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
Well, I've been divorced for 17 years, right? So I've been alone for this. I think I remember it was like 3 years where I think I went on 2 dates, and I was fine. Like, I'm totally fine being alone. It's not that I'm not. It's just so different now, like you said, because I always had my daughter with me. So regardless of like if a relationship didn't work out, she would be there.
Yeah.
And now it's like she's not there. So it's. But again, I'm good being alone.
And you
alone.
will get used to that too. And
I
it
am
takes
getting used to, because now you know what? I do whatever I want when I feel like. If I want to sleep over someone's house, I'm gonna sleep.
Whoa, hello, what's going on?
Home, I'm gonna stay. You know, it's different. Where like before, you'd be like, "Oh, I can't. I gotta go home." My child. It's totally. It's a lot of freedom. It's wonderful, but it would be nice to have someone. But
I think
you know.
Yeah, I think even as a man, like, listen, why would you think I do all the stuff I do?
Stay busy.
Well, no, like, it's not for myself. It's for the women I'm going to marry.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, if I think you can talk to a lot of men who do things and they're on their purpose. Like, you literally do it for women or the woman that you're going to be with. Right. And the more that you do and the more that you bring to the table, the better quality woman you're going to get. You're right. Because listen, I can't attract, I wasn't bad looking when I was 25. But there's no way I could attract the women I attract now at 25 because I hadn't done anything.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So men have to go through this. You have to do stuff. You have to, whatever, become a doctor, become a lawyer. And then.
And it doesn't even have to be that. That's not a bad thing. It's like a woman just wants a man to be able, like one of my things is when I was looking for someone, I mean, he didn't have to have a ton of money, but he had to be able to take care of himself.
Right.
And
he was, living in the basement, the kind of thing, not that he had to have a great job, but he had to have a job and was, living on his own, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think that if you push yourself and you want to evolve, then you develop the qualities that you want, but that other people want as well, no matter what you're in.
Yeah.
Which brings me, throw me some green flags from men.
Green flags. Oh, the beach.
Of men.
The
man loves the beach. Nancy, I wasn't expecting that, but okay, the beach. They love the beach.
For me, I like
honesty.
I like a guy. You have to be honest. You have to be able to communicate. And I like a guy that takes care of himself.
Oh, definitely.
Because I feel like if you put no effort into yourself and looking good and feeling good, you're going to be a negative person. I like to take care of myself, and I want someone to want that for themselves.
Right.
If you don't hygiene, like if you don't care what you look like, if you don't work out, if you just want to sit on the couch all day, that's I want someone.
A man who's doing something.
Yes.
Right.
That's definitely like if someone shows up on a date, they're dressed nice, they smell good, they take care of themselves, green flag. Yeah. All the way.
Besides the beach, Nancy, you have any other green flags?
But that's one of my things. And again, a date, shows up dressed really nice, everything. When I tell you his car was dirty, the inside of his car was dirty.
That one guy, his car was dirty. She was like, I'm done.
I'm like, it's a first date. And he insisted on picking me up. I never do that. He insisted on picking me up.
No, you just meet them somewhere, then go in their car.
But I was like, oh, come on, man. But I did. He had a second and third date, but that was it.
Right. So that's kind of interesting because, like, when we talk about like business, when someone comes into your business, you start at like 100, and then everything they notice that's wrong, you start right. Like it's kind of the same way for women. Listen, I went on a date the other day, and it's one of the first dates I'd been on where the woman wore a dress, and I was like, all right.
Wow. So you were impressed?
Yeah, because most of them wear jeans.
She put effort into it. Yeah. Like she thought about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And and you talk about like asking questions. I was like, hey, did you wear that dress to work? She's like, no, I changed. Right. So then I was like, okay.
But it depends. Where did you go? See, for me, it depends where you go.
So we just went to like a local upscale bar that you also frequent a lot.
Yes. I know which one you're talking about.
So, but so it wasn't like it was like a nice restaurant because it was a first date. So like,
right. All right.
But I was like, she's wearing a dress.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen that
Yeah.
for on a first date.
Right.
Right.
I had a girl come on a first date in scrubs.
Oh, come on.
I mean, she looked cute, but I was like,
No, but not
But-
for a first date.
I had to be like,
come on.
Maybe she's trying to impress you. Was she a doctor
With her-
or nurse?
yeah,
Or
she
she was a pharmacist.
Pharmacist.
She was
Maybe
like,
she wanted
look
you
at
to,
me and
yes.
my
But,
Yeah,
I have one of my girlfriends, my close girlfriends, Kendra. I was like, Kendra, she said she's coming to the date in her scrubs. I'm not sure what to think about this.
Wait, she told you in advance?
Yeah, I think she said she was coming right from work. We were just meeting for coffee,
You
right?
can change in the bathroom.
Well, I was-
There's so many things you can
Let me
do
tell you
with
this.
that.
Like,
There's definitely a difference for me dating when I was younger to like now after COVID. I feel like I had to recalibrate myself to the dating marketplace now.
I think the whole COVID thing too.
Yeah.
That's what I had a lot of time. That's when all my revelations came to me, and
Yeah, dating
the
after
whole
COVID's
COVID,
different.
Yeah.
And it took me a good 4 or 5 months to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand this now. But I didn't, all right, so throw me some red flags.
They snap like right away.
Yeah, so they can't control their emotions.
Can't control their emotions.
Yeah.
That's like number one. Or if they turn their phone face down.
I hate
it's sketchy.
that. I hate when a guy does
That's
that.
sketchy. I don't
Well,
care.
what if they just turn it down right away?
What like
Because
put it
like,
in your pocket then or something.
but I wear
don't-
tight jeans, so it's hard to get it.
No, I know, but
Oh.
why is it
I
Even-
think that bothers me more once you've been with the
Once
person.
you've been dating,
Right,
them,
right,
yeah.
right.
I feel like the first few dates you have a pass on that. Like I don't care
Yeah.
if you're whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But when you that
or if they're on their phone a lot,
that
looking
I
or
can't.
texting or smoking. Smoking is definitely. And this one thing never bothered me before because everyone can have their opinion. I don't care whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. But if you're like an extremist wackadoodle, I'm good.
I don't.
I like that.
I don't even.
No,
to
I
be
don't.
honest,
Try
I
not
don't
to-
talk about that.
But today, it's a
can't.
crazy time. And there are some really, but you try to check out their Facebook page and stuff so you can kind of tell.
Oh yeah, you're gonna stalk
Yeah.
them before you go on with them.
The
a
crazies.
little bit.
And everyone's entitled to their opinion. Whether it's like religion, race, politics, that's something that I really don't, none of that bothers me, but the politics lately, because there are so many crazies. Like, like you would know when someone starts talking about it or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't really on first dates talk about that
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
like I don't talk about politics.
But
I just don't.
we never do, even as friends.
I just don't. I'm not.
None of
That's
us.
not my. I don't.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
I did on the first date on purpose
Why?
because I can navigate it.
I
Right?
can navigate
Because
it too.
because just for topics, because like I don't get like emotionally reactive. Like I don't really care.
Yeah.
Right. And you make a joke of it, whatever. But yeah, if you don't, so this brings me to another point. Like kids today, because of the apps and stuff like that, they don't know how to talk in person.
No.
We had to,
Yeah.
right? I remember my girlfriend like calling me up in like 6th grade on my see-through phone, where you could see like the electronics, and like I had a call, and like when I had a call for her, I had to talk to her father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like you had
right,
to had to have those things.
Yeah.
But because of the podcast, I talked to everybody. Like I could talk about anything with anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I was having fun. So I was actually seeing if I could pull it off. And she made a comment like, "Oh, not politics," but we were good. It was a rapport. We were already in rapport.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was fine. And I'm thinking to myself, most people couldn't pull this off right now.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
I can, like, I
Yeah.
respect someone's opinion, but when it's their opinion only and they don't respect yours, that's how I should put it. If they're not respecting your opinion,
Yeah.
so what you believe in, like you want to believe in what you want to believe, go ahead. As long as it's not doesn't affect me or
Yeah.
hurting me, that's fine. I don't care. But when they push theirs on you,
Well, I think that's the key, right? You can't put.
Yes.
Listen,
yeah,
when you push your belief on somebody else, all
Yeah.
they're going to do is stand steadfast in their belief,
right.
and then you're at an impasse anyway.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, who really
No,
cares?
Exactly.
So, and let's talk about like how you vet somebody before you go on a date with them, right? So I think one of the big red flags for me, because if you do online dating, is like, do you have any social media? Right? Because if you don't, I don't know if like women experience this. There's scams out there,
Oh God,
There's
yes.
A lot of scams. Yes.
like fake women.
Yes.
Like,
I've experienced when I first got divorced, I did Match, and I had this one guy telling me he was an engineer, blah, 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 going on. And I could like so tell he was so full of shit. It was, I'm sorry.
You can swear,
on
yeah,
air?
this is,
Okay.
the 7 people that see this will not be.
Yeah, I know. But telling me, and I knew right away, it was just a lot of bullshit. So
I
big
always
deal.
like,
Yeah.
Google them.
I
I
just
Googled. I
recently-
Googled the name.
I
everything.
recently did Match for a month and I'm off
Yeah.
it and I will never do it
Oh,
again
it's
because
bad.
it sucked. But when I did do it for that 1 month, every person that did reach out to me, I would always make sure that they were actually a real person.
Yeah, I think you need to
It's
do that.
scary.
Yeah,
You
they have-
know
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
what
a
you
lot
on
of,
the other end.
a lot of scams for men, like like even crypto. It's weird, like, you know, but I always vet them because again, I don't have that much time to go out. So like, if I'm going to go out with
picky,
you,
right?
yeah, like I can't, like, I literally have to leave work. I had to leave work yesterday to go on a date.
How did it go?
It was good. It was very good.
Good.
Yeah, but
So give
You
me
know-
a second date?
I know.
maybe.
Maybe.
Oh.
So
So
I leave work and I have like 17 text messages like this happened. Like I never leave on a Wednesday. You know, all that
Yeah.
stuff happens. But my point is you vet them. So we're at dinner and, you know, obviously everyone always asks like, were you married? And I was like, oh, I was almost married. So they always ask about my ex-fiance and I have to explain why we didn't get married.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Everyone asks that question. I'm ready for it. And then she's like, does she have kids or whatever? All right. So I tell her. Okay. So now the night goes on and she's like, yeah, my cousin, she Googled you and sent me all that stuff.
Oh,
So she already, yeah. So I guess she was trying to see if I was lying.
honest,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And I told her the right stuff. She's like, I knew,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But that's, but I was like, that makes sense. Like you would want to Google me,
Oh, I always do.
you know?
I was asked where, where they're from. Like,
Absolutely.
not your address, but your city. Put a Google in there.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's when you
Just-
can't find them.
Then I don't know if I couldn't find someone, I don't know if I would
No, I know. I'm just
go
joking.
on that
Yeah.
date
Yeah.
because you don't know.
No.
Well, again, women have to, especially as a self-defense instructor, women have to definitely make sure that, like, you know, they're safe. They're in a public place. They meet in a public place, right? You talk about like date rape drugs and different things they can put in your drink,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? Like, so as a man, could that happen to me? Of course, but is it as likely as to happen to me as a woman? No, right? So that's not something that I necessarily think about. How quickly do you know if you like a man or not? And how quickly did you know you liked me?
What do you mean?
That's just a
Wait,
joke.
I was like,
Yeah, it's a
wait, I was
joke.
like, what? Wait,
That's good.
did you meet on a first date or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on a first date?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Probably within the hour.
That long?
Because then well, I want to give someone a chance, okay? Like,
Yeah.
like if someone walks in, they may not look like you want them to look. Like I said, that person walked in and I was like, ugh,
Not
let
what
me
you-
give them a chance.
Would you have that same perspective when you were 20?
No.
Would you write them off quicker?
Yes. 100%. See how you change?
But not even in the dating world, any person, I know right away if I vibe with somebody.
And that's a joke I was making, right?
No,
When
I
did
know,
you
I
know?
know, I know. But I vibe right away.
I feel like if you have like
know
a few
right away.
you'll know if you are.
There's I'll say 90% of the time I'm correct. You know, sometimes you.
I just go with my gut.
Yeah,
my
me
gut
same.
is usually
Yeah.
right.
It just takes an hour.
You know.
Yeah, it takes some time because you need to like talk and make sure, like
Yeah.
you catch them in lies and then you're done, and
So just be
Lying-
transparent.
Just
Just be transparent.
Lying
If
is the
you're
worst.
honest, then it's good.
The worst.
But if
lying.
you're not, you're gonna get caught somewhere in
Yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out.
So do you think, I heard a quote, and it definitely made sense, but I want to get the woman's perspective, is that when you break up with a man, right? Now, barring like it wasn't abusive, none of that, he didn't cheat on you.
Okay.
We just break up with a man. It means you don't believe in his future.
You don't believe in his future,
Right. So for instance, you're with a guy, right? He's sitting home. He's not doing anything with his life. He's playing video games. You don't believe in that man's future.
No.
Done.
Done. Right.
Done.
So would you...
Why waste your time?
Exactly. So like as a man, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like if a woman breaks up with a man for, not extraneous reasons, like it's the relationship, it's because you don't believe in his future. or the future together.
You think there's nothing.
He's not going anywhere.
Right.
You probably have more goals
Yeah.
than that person. And that
Correct.
person has no goals. So at some point, that relationship is never going to work because you're going to keep reaching your goals, and that person's going to like stay down here. So it's just a matter of time.
Which brings me back to what I asked Nancy. Like, it could be wrong, but as a woman gets more successful, you want a man pretty much on your level, right? Because, like, again, you just told me if you're doing all this stuff and that man's not doing anything, right?
He has to bring something to
Yes,
life. I mean,
agreed.
it doesn't have to be monetary. I mean, obviously, that's a nice thing.
Sure.
But he has to elevate my life. And it doesn't have to be in a monetary way, but in some way he has to elevate my life.
When you feel like you're doing all the work as far as everything in the relationship and the other person is not really contributing anything to it, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the point? Regardless of whether you're in love with the person or not, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yep.
And so what do you think a man wants from a woman?
I feel, and I'm talking men of my age, around my age, I feel, and it could be most men, I think they want to be valid. I'm going to say validated. I was going to say adored, but that's not a bad thing either. Men just want to be
special.
Needed and special. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
you do.
Yeah. And it's not much different from us.
From what we want. If you really think about it, we kind of both want the same things. It's just the way we're both approaching it.
Yeah. And I think men want to be listened to, not talked at.
Yeah. So from a man's perspective, and I can only speak from this, like 100% you want to be validated.
Yeah.
So like you don't want a woman who's like bickering at you, ordering you around.
Right.
Like, listen, like if I'm on my purpose, I'm working all day long, the last thing I want to do is come home to someone who's yelling at me.
Right.
Right. I literally, you don't want that. You literally want someone who's supportive,
Yeah.
right? Can give you ideas, but like on the same token, also agrees with you
Yeah.
a lot, right? Because like if you're dealing with whatever you're dealing at work, going home is where you recharge.
Should be good. It should be a good thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is go home and just watch a mindless TV show.
Yeah.
And you're together eating like ice cream.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
That's me too.
I just make sure I don't get too, you know, but yeah, so I think men really want that. They want somebody who you can go
Men
out
want
and have a good
attention
time with.
though too. Men want your attention.
Your attention. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that but I think it also comes down to the fact that men are pretty simple when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't listen, especially traditional men, we don't want the woman's money. Right? We don't have a need for it.
Yeah.
Right? We want to provide for them. So it's literally just having that person. Like we traditional men want to take care of the woman. The woman needs to let us take care of her. Right? Like if there's a barrier up there and like on some levels you're not letting a traditional man take care of you, that's a turnoff. Yeah. Right? Because we want to take you out. We want to take
care of me all you want. That's fine with me.
But that's how like, and I'm a little younger, but like my generation, like that's how I was raised. I remember this story. I was working full-time as a physical therapist and, you know, I had an 80-year-old priest with me. I had a 90-year-old Italian guy. And I was telling the story with my ex-fiance. My ex-fiance was super sweet, sensitive, like, you know, didn't want to ruffle any feathers. Okay, so I come in here, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, like I have my business, boom, like, you know, I work out. So like in my eyes, like I have to protect this girl, right? Which still in this perspective, like I have to protect her and stand up for her because she's not going to stand up for herself, right? But I'm also attracted to that. So we were at dinner and she got her soup and it was cold. So she's like, Mark, my soup's cold. I was like, okay, just tell the waiter. So, and sometimes I tried to like, kind of like, she's like, no,
that's fine.
you know, she's like,
I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, everyone knows my fiance's name, but I was like, Stacy. I was like, just tell the waiter. She's like, no. I was like, okay, I'll tell the waiter. Right. So I tell the waiter, No problem. Like he brings her soup back. It's hot. Well, I'm telling this story at physical therapy because in physical therapy, I need to take people's minds off their injuries.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now my cast of characters are my patients. A 95-year-old Italian guy, an 80-year-old priest,
Right.
and
We like your stories.
a Republican woman,
Yeah.
right? In her 70s or 60s. And so I'm telling the story. And another patient who's not mine, she's like a 70-year-old woman. She's like, wasn't really in my conversation as far as I can remember. And she's like, you shouldn't have done that. And I go, now, I'm not her therapist.
Yeah.
I only have a couple patients. I really don't give a shit, but I also not going to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
But anyway, I go, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand.
What did you do wrong?
And she's like, no, she should have learned to do that. And I go, okay, but like she's not going to do that.
Right.
And
It's
you-
not
And
her.
as the man,
It's not her in her to
In
do that.
her, yeah.
I'm not going to let her eat cold soup,
Yeah.
right? And she got kind of mad, and I didn't like understand why. So I look at the 90-year-old Italian guy. I'm like, Tony. I'm like, what would you have done? He's like, of course I would have done that same thing, right? Because that's how we were.
Yeah. I feel you get what you give emotionally, everything. Physically, you get what you give. Like,
Yeah.
and like even in like my marriage, like some men can't even comprehend that. It's the simplest thing. It is the simplest thing. And not to get into it, but like sex starts in the morning. Sex starts when how you treat that person. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
Depending, like you get treated well all day.
Then you want to have sex with them at night?
Exactly. Do you
Okay.
know what
Because
I'm
if you
no, do you know
someone
what I'm
treats
saying?
you like shit all day and then they
want
expect you
sex-
to
exactly.
then you're gonna be like, what? No, I'm good.
But I have always said that. You treat someone well, and nothing is perfect.
no,
People, have their
it's
things
just
or
respect.
whatever.
Give me respect.
It's
And I'll
respect.
give
Exactly.
you respect.
Exactly.
Honesty, same way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as humans, like relationships are some of our most exciting things and some of our most draining things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I've learned more from dating than probably almost anything else in my life. Like dating different women of like different background, Portuguese, whatever, Italian, whatever. And being introduced to their families.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of them I still talk to,
Yeah.
right? Because even though you broke up, that doesn't mean you don't have to like each other.
That's right.
You had a moment in time where you guys were together. It's respectful. But I've learned a lot just by being introduced to other families.
Right. You do.
Right.
And-
But it's like a sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's bad, but people grow differently.
You learn from
As
every
well. Yeah.
relationship that you have.
Yeah.
Whether it was a really crappy relationship, you're still gonna learn
Oh,
from
absolutely. So
it. Which is, I mean, if you think about it, it can't be that bad if you learn something from it.
no.
I mean,
No.
Hello, my name is Dr. Marc Bochner. Don't forget to check out my new book, Pug Learns to Believe. Hey guys, Dr. Marc here. Now I know a lot of you want to know how we get all these amazing results with our clients, and it comes down to 3 things. The first is fun fitness classes that burn a lot of calories. 2 is giving you an accountability coach to make sure you stay on track and get the best results. And 3 is the nutrition. Included in the nutrition is our food supplements. So we pair with Prestige Labs because I feel they are the best, they have integrity, and they get great results. These are actually the supplements that I take as well. Here's the awesome part. By clicking the link below, you can save 40% off the retail price. So you need that link to actually save 40%. If you just go to the normal site without my link, you're paying full price, okay? So these are the supplements my clients use. If you are interested, definitely click the link below and it'll tell you all about them.